So what's going on, guys? Box here, and welcome back to some more MotoGP 21 on the preview build yet again. And we're going to be here doing a race as Marc Marquez, who should be back in Portimao, I believe, which is the next round, because yesterday was, well, when I'm recording this, yesterday was the second round of the season, and a pretty exciting race. It was a really good race. But before we get talking about that, let's jump into the start of this race. Well, we're starting from P5 on the grid, and we're here at Valencia. Marc Marquez on the Honda, and we're barreling into turn number one. We're being overtaken by a few bikes up the inside, dropping a few positions down to about P8, losing 3 positions off the start, getting back underneath of Rins and the Ducati there, and Vinales on the just ahead of us, getting down, and we take evasive action out wide there, and that has cost us some time. We've got Nakagami trying to come through on the LCR Honda, so a pretty interesting start to this race. Didn't get the best of launches, and then caught up trying to avoid Vinales, who the front folded on his Yamaha, and Nakagami's throw on the brakes are a little bit deep there, leaves Rins a bit of an opening to stick his nose up, but he isn't quite able to make the most of it. And now barreling through this middle part of the circuit, we're trying to close back down to Nakagami, who's in P5. So we've only dropped 1 position so far on the first lap, but we'd like to have been able to attack the top 4. I would have thought Marquez would want, but anyway, turn 11, can't quite get underneath of Nakagami, and we run wide there with Rins yet again on the Suzuki doing a good job. So currently Mir leads from Valentino, Rossi, Espargaro, Morbidelli, and then Nakagami ahead of us in P5. But look at the rear end getting out of shape, and it's running us wide and dropping down the hill. Now we got a KTM up the inside as well, so Rins getting past us, approaching the final corner, and Binder on the KTM up our inside. Look at that Ducati go. We're going to get him back though, and let's see. Oh, wow, God, yeah, getting on the brakes here, quite a few positions. A little bit unstable on the brakes. You saw the rear end wanting to step out a little bit, but it is Marc Marquez, and here we go. A little bit of contact with Nakagami there as I'm trying to navigate up the inside, but is he going to hold on? Not quite. Looks like we're going to be able to get him back, and we do just that, but he's coming back up our inside, or at least he thinks about it. But there we go, through back into P5 now. So got Nakagami behind us, so we've got a bit of a gap up the road that we're going to need to close down. So just going to work our way at this gap. But I mean, yeah, Rins getting through on Nakagami. Now Rins means business on the Suzuki. He's going to be one to get through. You can see his teammate leading this race, and Rins around the outside, not quite able to. We're going to stick with him and get back through. So yes, we've got a bit of work to do here, but now it's about trying to close down the gap to the top 4, and it looks like we can bridge this gap by the looks of things. Nakagami and Rins fighting behind, but here you go, fast up of the race, 31.8 from us there, Marc Marquez, as we end lap number 2, start lap number 3. Gap is about 1.2 seconds, about a second now, but we'll see, can we close down this gap? We're just going to keep working away at the gap, but looks like Rossi, Espargaro and Morbidelli may get into a bit of a battle here, so that'll be interesting. We're going to have to keep our eye on things there, but about a 10th underneath of our personal best time, and here we go, ending lap number 3. It's another 31.8, very consistent, but Mir leading this race, 31.693 with a fast lap of the race. You can see on the far left of your screen where the fast lap of the race was, but there you go, lots of action up the road. Morbidelli trying to get through on our teammate, and we're going to want to close down these guys as quick as possible, but we'll have to see how the race goes. Can we put in another 31.8 sort of lap time, keep it consistent? It's good enough to close down the gap, but Mir just has that few extra tenths, and he's starting to ease away now, so we're just going to have to keep an eye on his pace. But for us, it's going to be a bit of an ass to take the win, but we're in with a shot with a podium, and currently still going a little bit faster. Looks like we're about a 10th under on that lap. It's going to be, what, a 31.7 personal best, but not a fast lap of the race. So very good lap times here, very consistent. Marquez keeping it good. Marquez, he's a fun rider to ride as on this game. So, oh my God, Morbidelli hitting the deck. That's going to promote us up to P4, and now we're in with a real shot at getting this podium. So we're just going to keep plugging away Espargaro, our teammate, is next. So let's see if we can close down this gap. Let's see what this lap time is going to be. It looks like it's going to be another 31 sort of 7, 31.8 lap time. Let's see as we now charge to the line. You can see in the top right we're marginally under. What's it going to be? It's going to be 31.625, fastest lap of the race, and we're closing down Pol Espargaro. Look at that. Huge stoppy as we headed into turn number 1, but we managed to bring it down. Very unstable on the brakes, but here we go up the inside of Pol. Just about. The rear end stepping out on us, but we're through on Pol Espargaro, our teammate. But next up, Valentino Rossi. But look at this, Pol Espargaro barging his way through. He isn't settling for that at all. He's taking no nonsense here from Marc Marquez. So he's back round the outside there. Very, very solid racing from the AI. So let's jump back on board with Marquez. Let's see if we can close down and get back ahead of Pol Espargaro. Gap's currently a 10th, so we're well within attacking distance. Up the inside as we barrel into turn 7, now dropping down the hill into turn 8. We're still sort of on a personal best lap time. Very, very impressed with our lap times here. Very consistent, so that's what we want to see in this sort of race. But Valentino Rossi, he's next. And he's not next! He's hit the deck. He's done exactly what his teammate's done. The Petronas bike must be struggling with something on the front end, because at the same corner, both Petronas Yamaha riders have dropped out of this race. And look at that pole getting through at turn 13. That up and over the hill, it really takes a lot out of your rear tyre, and that's cost us a bit of time. We lost a few tenths there. We were well on track for another 31.6, 31.7 lap time, but we've lost about half a second there. You see 32.1, that final corner really messing us up. But here we go, final lap time. And we're being pushed along by Pol Espargaro. Looks like we're going to be in with a bit of a race on our hands with the two Honda riders. Couldn't think of the bike there, but let's see. Pol Espargaro back through, but we're not going to give up. We want to get this P2, and it's going to be an important one for these two riders trying to jostle for position. I mean, traditionally, Marquez is very much the number 1 rider at Repsol Honda, but Espargaro coming in, he's a very solid rider, so he's not going to want to settle for second rider. He's going to want to get some wins in there and get ahead of his teammate Marc Marquez. But here we go into turn 7. Very good, very strong corner for us. We get a good run out of that corner, line it up, and then we always hit turn 8 very nicely. And now we're ahead of Pol Espargaro by a couple of tenths, and we've just got to keep on going, hit our lines, hit our braking points, get our turning points just right. It's running a little bit wide at the apex of turn 11, but Pol, I think we sucked him into that one, so he's not able to get through us. But this is the danger zone for us, out of turn 12, now up and over this hill at turn 13. You can hear I'm just being very, very careful with the throttle, holding that inside line, just taking it easy. I don't want to spin up the rear and chuck us into a high side, but around the final corner, just got to charge to the line. Pol Espargaro is close, but not close enough. He's got the slipstream, but it's not going to be enough, and we're going to get P2. Still, that first win on this preview build is eluding us. But Mir takes the win from ourselves. Pol Espargaro, Brad Binder, Zarco, who's been very impressive in the real life Grand Prix. I mean, that second round at Qatar, very intense race. Such a close race that one was. Really, really enjoyable to watch. And obviously Quartararo just managed it perfect. So factory Yamahas have a win each, but it is Zarco that leads the championship in this 2021 season. Just Mr. Consistent there. Very, very good racing for the Pramac man. I mean, he could be on to become world champion, but we're going to have to see what happens with this man, Marc Marquez, when he comes back. That's the big question marks. Will he be able to hit the ground running? You know, he won't be too bothered about what's happened so far this season. It hasn't been a runaway for a particular rider, so he's going to be very much in the mix as long as he can hit the ground running and he's at 100% fitness. But there you have it. That's been it for today's video on the MotoGP 21 preview build, and a little bit talking about the second round at Qatar. So if you are looking forward to the game's release at the end of April, do smash that like button, share it around your friends, and don't forget to get subscribed for plenty more MotoGP 21 gameplay, and I'll see you guys in the next one.